Okay, so guys, this is DJ and we're welcome back to another one of my videos. I was in a cooking mood, so I decided that I was gonna make a favorite meal of mine when I was a kid growing up. I was showed how to make this some odd years ago. Don't remember it all the time. It doesn't actually have a name. It's really simple to make. The main ingredients over here, or I couldn't find the right diced fruit, so this is gonna have to do for it. It's spicy. It says hot on it. This has tomatoes, some green peppers, some diced onions, tomatoes, and then we have our seasoning for it. This is the meat that we're using is carnita meat. What I'm gonna do first is wash it because it's kind of bloody. Then I'm waiting for this pan to heat up to evaporate the water. I'm gonna put the vegetable oil in there. You're gonna want to put a little bit in there to begin with, and then add as you need. It with the meat itself, it's gonna create some of its own oil, so you're not gonna really need a whole lot. So let's go ahead and get started with the washing. This is a thin cut kind. You might want to if you. Be enough water. If you want to, you can pull it apart or cut it if you want to. That's all up to preference. Really, once you start cooking it, because of how it's already cut like these, where there's a bunch of small chunks in there, it'll start pulling apart when you start working around inside the pan. Okay, so this, I'm just rinsing it off really quick, getting the blood off. And this is just going to be my sample size to show you guys. And then I'm going to make the rest of this for my meal with my mother tonight. Let me go ahead and wash my hands. The pan seems like it's getting there. It's not close yet. Oh, that's the rear pan. I'll just switch it. I'm gonna give that a little bit more time. So, like I was saying, just add a little bit of oil. You're not gonna want a whole lot in there because the meat's gonna create most of it. And the reason why you're adding oil to begin with is to give it a start. There should be plenty. I'm going to add it a little bit more as I go along. Okay, there we go. So with this step, it's fairly simple. Break it apart as much as possible. Get it start cooking. You want to get it to brown. And the oil gives you your head start. And as you guys can see in here, it's already starting to cook some. Once the pan heats up some more, it's going to cook a lot faster. The oil from the meat is already coming out, as you see in this corner over here. And it's cooking up pretty decently well so far. Like I said, you want to break it up as you're cooking it. I usually was going to wait until it's cooked some more, but right at this process, it's kind of fine to add your seasoning in. And as you guys can see, I have a separate pan right here. That's where I'm going to cook all the vegetables, and then I'm going to season them and then add it to the meat. You usually use as many packets as you need. I'm only going to use one for this small portion size for right now. This is going to give you most of your flavor. The vegetables are going to add to it, but most of your flavor is going to come from the seasoning. Getting nice and brown. Check this. Yeah, it's hot enough. I don't need much of this to begin with. Really, I'm going to add as I go to increase over time what I actually going to need. So use this little portion size. So again, with this, you're going to wait until it browns. It has some onions in it, but I got a packet of onions. Usually with these diced vegetables, I already have onions in it, but I use diced, these are yellow diced onions. I add extra to it for more flavor. And then we have the mushrooms here, which also is going to go in. Okay, so added the vegetable oil, which is going to help cook it. And you can see over here it's already browning up enough that I can add in the vegetables and then cook another batch and just keep adding as I go usually until the pan is full. Or, you know, as big as the portion size you want to make. Some of the onions. That's good enough for this portion size. Tomatoes, things. These need to be broken up some. There's some huge chunks in there. I think I'm going to add some more vegetable oil in there, so it can cook a little bit better. You're going to want, usually we add a gravy mix to it, just so it all can soak in, for the vegetables and the meat to all soak in the different flavors that are being added to it. And for this particular step, when it comes to cooking the vegetables individually, you want to get them started because they're going to do most of their cooking in this pan with the actual meat. It's starting to look really good. Smells good too. I'm going to wait until these onions and the mushrooms get a little bit more brown before I add it in. And I didn't use, I think I used all of this one. Yeah, okay. And I'm not going to add all of this in here. I'm just going to add a little bit of dab to it just to give this some more flavor. This particular step, once you're adding in all the vegetables and the meat together, you want to mix it in real well so it's all cooking equally, and then on top of it all cooking equally, there's not like a whole bunch of meat or a whole bunch of vegetables in one section. You want to try to avoid that. For the gravy portion of it, really you're just adding a little bit of water and then the gravy mix, pouring it in there. This is essentially the whole of your meal. This is the most important part. Then I would boil some water, cook some rice, and then you serve that as a meal. And that's your whole entire meal. Quick, easy, simple to make, and I hope you guys like this one. Like and subscribe for more. DJ New World out. Peace. What's up, guys? I forgot to mention something first, which is that when you get to bigger portion size, it's going to take a lot longer to cook. The other thing is, I forgot to mention, is that the mushrooms itself, if you do decide to do mushrooms, you don't have to if you're allergic. Nova, stop it. What you're going to want to do is just let it cook longer. Same rule, cook until brown. This is the finished product of what it should look like, what it's going to look close to. Of course, you're going to cook it as long as you want to. Cook until brown, add rice, or because it is taco meat, you can just use tortilla. Those wanted to mention while I was thinking about it. The mushrooms, I just break apart by hand. The meat in the pan here, once it starts cooking, really, it'll start breaking apart on its own. Or you can just use what I'm using, which is basically a spatula, and just break it apart as you go along. You see all the different oils and that's coming out of here. That's actually a good thing, because that means that I don't really have to add much vegetable oil, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. Vegetable oil, it'll create most of its own oil. You can add a little bit of water if you want to for the gravy, but since it's already producing enough right now, then I'm not gonna. That's usually what you do: add some water to help cook it, and then for the gravy to be mixed in together. Okay, now, like and subscribe for more. DJ New World out. Peace.